As crossroads of three continents, cradle of great religions and civilizations that reverberate global cultures, the Mediterranean constitutes a synthesis of war crises and opportunities, very often not sufficiently expressed nor fully exploited. Now, the digital wave is redefining the role, shape, and mission of the Mediterranean community. With flows of new people entering the region, also come new visions, traditions, prospects, and challenges. In this context, cinema and television, digital platforms, and the newly certified artificial intelligence applications are accruing the intensity of hybrid message exchanges that bind people into inextricable networks, constituting a new koinè. In its 26th edition, on the topic, Mobile Cinema, a new koinè for young Euromediterraneans to foster peace and tolerance, the Euromediterranean Conference on Cinema will explore the new cultural dimension that emerged with the advent of digital technologies and offer guiding principles for a significant encounter of people, civilizations, and dialogues. This Euromediterranean Multaka, relaunching the UNESCO Mediterranean program, will define new pathways capable of validating new socio-cultural expressions and scenarios towards the affirmation of traditions and dimensions that are respectful of human rights, promote diversity and inclusivity, and sustainability. Join us on September 6 at the Venice International Film Festival to contribute to the discussion.
Okay, welcome everybody. And now we are waiting the line. What's a point of reference of the not only the cinema and the Mediterranean, but the whole situation, because the cinema is an expression of the culture and the people and the institution. Without 20 or 30 years, the situation becomes worse. Become worse because the war, the fragmentation, the terrible glorification also, the value of culture in many countries, and also the globalization of the languages, the digital, instead to unify the dialogue, become make a lot of fragmentation, become more private, and the great team, the great vision was before it was disappeared. It's more a virtual reality than the real, but
sorry, impossible to follow.
New generation could renew that kind of koinè. The UNESCO program was born exactly 30 years ago. And he make a great results, creating institution, creating festival, creating a new way to collaborate, a new way to exchange. Just a few points. Our organization, the Conseil International du Cinéma, created a network of festivals and the new festival also. And even in the difficult countries like in Albania, in Sarajevo, in Turkey, and also in Egypt, and in Lebanon. And that was a demonstration how the community, during the different situation, like terrible situation like in Lebanon. Lebanon was just ended the war. The cinema was a capacity to find the roots, to find together the people, to find also the voice. Yesterday we have here a great movie about Mahmoud, and also was the COPEAM. He connected all the television, connected all the institutions in terms of school, etc. They still active, but the great effort of the UNESCO needed to be relaunched. And I'm confident that the importance of this institution will make the difference. So this conference is just to understand how could be endorsed, how can be reinforced this permanent effort, and with the new languages, the new AI also, and the new generation, that they are very active, not in movie, but they have integrate the movie in its own little screen, the telephone. That could be a new era. And it's a great appeal, it's a great work to do with this generation, very, very incredible, creative, and they use the movie just to communicate. That is my hope and also my compliment. So
I think we can now show the video from the UNESCO General Director.
Distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to address you today on this topic of profound relevance to the mandate of UNESCO and its Regional Bureau for Science and Culture in Europe, which I have the privilege to lead. As the only UNESCO field office in Europe with a specific mandate on program development and implementation, our mission is to advance UNESCO overall program in the region through specialized and interdisciplinary actions with a particular focus on Southeast Europe and the Mediterranean basin. Culture is central to our mandate, not only as an asset to be safeguarded, but as a tool to foster intercultural dialogue and respect, reconciliation, and sustainable development. In line with its mission, UNESCO is deeply committed to protecting and promoting the diversity of cultural expressions by creating the conditions for cultures to flourish and freely interact in a mutually beneficial manner. Cinema, as one of the 7 art forms within the UNESCO Creative Cities Network, is an outstanding example of the role that culture can play in advancing peace and tolerance, enhancing innovative thinking and creative development. UNESCO cities of film span across the globe, from Asia to South America, serving as vibrant hubs that brings together international and thriving sector, fostering partnerships and exchanging ideas. In recent decades, we have witnessed the transformative impact of digital technologies in making cinema accessible to all, connecting people across the world and raising awareness of both individual and global challenges. Digital innovation has not only enriched and transformed culture, but also holds significant potential to accelerate progress towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals of the 2030 Agenda. However, while culture is a powerful force to bridge differences and bring people together, it is also vulnerable to exploitation. We must remain vigilant against the instrumental use of culture to fuel crisis and undermine human rights. Reducing inequalities and ensuring the health and well-being of young learners as creative and responsible global citizens are paramount objectives for UNESCO, essential to fostering a more secure and equitable world. I commend the organizers of today's conference for their focus on youth, creativity, and peace. By doing so, you provide a vital platform to advocate for collective action towards a more just, tolerant, and equitable future. I wish you all a very fruitful discussion. Thank you.
Now we are pleased to show a statement from His Excellency Undersecretary of State Alberto Barachini.
Thank you for your invitation and thank you, President Saporito. Cinema illustrates our lives and the world we inhabit. At the same time, it makes sense of our experience and look into our future. It can reveal what we often struggle to see and understand. It broadens our vision, and with image and sound, it contributes to a shared culture. Without our direct awareness, cinema creates a common language and a common soundtrack. And it is a common language of which the countries of the Euromediterranean area have a real need. We are facing critical situation in the field of security, energy, food, environment, demography, economy, and migration. It is with a common language that we must transform this situation day by day into opportunities for all, so that peaceful coexistence will become more attractive than conflict. Europe, Asia, and Africa have their own histories, their religion, their demographic realities, their greatness and their fragility. But they have also this sea of ours in common. And despite the importance of the Indo-Pacific and the Atlantic areas, it is a stretch of water which continues to be a critical crossing point for commercial and digital flows, for diplomatic relations, and for energy supplies. For this reason, it attracts both great attention and great competition, alongside and away from its shores. For any view international centrality of Africa, to which Italy is responding concretely with its Piano Mattei, together with the Ukrainian war, which its impact of energy has turned the spotlight once again on the Mediterranean area. To the south and east, the region has been experiencing tension of an environment, social and historical nature, drought, desertification, and serious economy and political problems made worse by the presence of terrorism. The northern shore, with Italy at its center, also faces critical questions, not least that of migration. Communication between European countries of the Mediterranean and the countries of Northern Europe is not always easy. Sometimes it is difficult to convey the drama of those who risk everything, including their lives, or to make it clear that only a united and forward-looking strategy can enable us to meet this phenomenon in a positive way. Cinema has a role to play here. From the days of neorealism and film such as Il Cammino della Speranza di Pietro Germi, up to our own day and films like Io Capitano di Matteo Garrone, cinema has always encouraged us to find a new understanding thanks to an identification with this drama. State support for film production such as these are not just a contribution to popular culture. They also help to develop a society based on a perception of realities different from our own, and while maintaining our own identity, we learn to appreciate it and to appreciate the value of dialogue and openness. Again, support for the information system has the same value. It is my wish that the media industry cooperates with Association of Journalists to set up professional training programs which open up new possibility of experience in the Euromediterranean countries. When I worked as a journalist in the past, I was fortunate enough to spend some time working abroad. What did I learn as a result? First of all, I learned that getting to know a place, a country, traveling around from city to city, looking into its eyes from morning to night, broadens the mind in a special way. As the Pope says, go and see. There is no better formula. Even in the days of artificial intelligence, of AI, and even in the days of drones in the sky or under the seas. To understand and to describe what one directly experiences gives a different quality of information. It can change things. Really, it can change things. Together with cinema, to which I shall always be grateful because of its deep culture, social, and above all, its human dimension, it really can make a difference. For this reason, I believe that the regular exchange of journalists, including period of training in the newsroom of our countries, can make a substantial contribution to the stability and development of the Mediterranean area. Thanks to this personal and direct experience, a better description of those reality can reach those Europeans who feel themselves more distant from them, not only geographically. So, projects like Erasmus or the Year Abroad give young people a better appreciation of diversity than adults and better equips them to face the future. This only serves to reinforce the point that those responsibility for informing us about the evolution of our society should share the same experience and develop the same awareness. Other fields like the creative arts or music are a good example of this process, where cultural exchange is normal and unfiltered. Preconception and prejudice limit knowledge, and positive change can only come by embracing new shared solutions. Let us not forget that while Europe is aging and while its pension and health system struggle to bear the burden of this transformation, Africa, on the other hand, is young and will continue to be so for a long time. Africa is young, but lacks many of those educational and professional opportunities which make development possible and sustainable. It is a lack which feeds social tension, the impact of which we have already seen. It must be possible to bring together at a European level a strategy, a vision, and a common solution to find a better future for everyone. But it's necessary to positively choose it. We, in the European Mediterranean region, we need to actively promote the value of joint agreement and cooperation to build this better future for everyone. Thank you. Thank you for your attention.
I want to thank very much the Senator Baracchini for this idea, and I'm sure some action will born also from this conference, because the Mediterranean in terms of Europe is completely, I think, quite abandoned. No any effort. After the agreement of Barcelona, where we try to have a common market, North Europe become completely the focus of the investment. So left Mediterranean. And now I think Italy and other Mediterranean countries can take again the leadership of this problem. But we have here a great...
Yes, I'm very pleased to present now the head of unit of Asia, Australia, and New Zealand, Mr. NICCOLÒ Rinaldi, who's here with us. So please, I'll sit here. Sure.
Well, thank you very much, Martina, and thank you very much to Paolo for this kind of invitation and for trying really so hard to bridge between the two sides of the Mediterranean with efforts which have been reiterated year after years. Things are not going well. That's quite clear. I guess the topic that today is going to be discussed now and the next hours, and the entire movie festival in Venice, would be of great interest for many young people living in South Mediterranean countries, as you see. However, as a matter of fact, if I would live in Tunis or in Beirut, and I would like to come and listen this gathering of people meeting next to the Palazzo del Cinema and listen what they say, I would have a huge hard time in getting a visa to reach Venice. As a matter of fact, for having a Schengen visa, there are 4 categories of visa. Unless you really try hard to have a tourist visa, which takes a long time and a lot of guarantees, etc., there is no way. If you work for a multinational company, you get a visa coming from Tunisia or Libya or Algeria, etc. Otherwise, since the Barcelona process, even before, there has not been any single positive development in making life easier for people who simply want to come, listen, and then ideally go back. If I decide, given the fact that I cannot travel to Europe that easily, to go out and watch a movie in my own town in the Southern Mediterranean, well, the kind of movie offer is quite different from the kind of movie offer we have here in Europe. It is not like in the 50s, in the 60s, and probably the 70s, where also because of recent colonial past heritage, the movie industry was basically covering Europe and the Southern Mediterranean the same way. It's not anymore like that. And what I go to see in a movie theater in Cairo is not at all the kind of productions and movies, mostly, of course, are exceptions, that we hear. And if I look for some kind of narrative and investigation of my own problem, of the problem of my society in the Southern Mediterranean, made by European or generally Western creators in the movie industry, again, with very few exceptions, I find basically nothing. Our movie industry is also part of the problem in the sense that it is quite detached from what's happening on the other side of the Mediterranean. Io Capitano was to some extent an exception, to some extent. It was not really about the southern Mediterranean part, it was about an African crossing the Mediterranean, the Black African. But this is an additional problem. If then I want to stay home and watch a TV program, well, since years we've been talking about the possibility to create a Euromediterranean TV channel, but there is nothing like that. Either I watch Al Jazeera or CNN or France 24 or BBC or Al Arabiya or Rai News even in Arabic, but a joint platform, a joint Euromediterranean, it isn't. If I want to go to university, well, I might have the chance, if I come from a very wealthy family, to go to the American University in Beirut, to the American University in Cairo. Otherwise, I have a lot of offers, of course, in Arabic countries, but there is not one single Euro-Mediterranean university, which, again, is also one of the kind of ideas that has been floating there for decades. If then I start a creative project in whatever fields, or I have a startup with some kind of innovative ideas and creativity, and startups, by definition, they do need funding, investment. Again, there is not one single supportive, financial supportive instrument which is dedicated to shape common platform in terms of creation and innovations in the Mediterranean area. I could go on with that kind of example. Just to make clear that in the daily life and also in the kind of perspective, my life perspective, of a citizen coming from Southern Mediterranean countries, well, Europe is far. What we are discussing here concerns ourselves, not really them. They're a bit cut out of the picture. This is unfortunately matched, I don't think it's any exaggeration, with the reality in terms of economy, of security, of institutions. I believe very much on the power of trade, trade being one of the most powerful instruments to make people connecting, and also to create mutual wealth. Well, the Southern Mediterranean countries, they count all together for about 5% of European Union trade. Very little. It's really very little. We have not established. Yeah, sure. Including energy. If we look to the security issue, which is a matter of concern, everybody's concern, we have security organization, North Atlantic, or with the OSCE, up to Mongolia, the Caucasus, Central Asia. There is not one single security organization between the two sides of the Mediterranean. When we look to the kind of political dialogue, definitely is there, but with a great emphasis rather on bilateral relationships, state to state, or state in the south and European Union on the other side, rather than region to region. And this is also very much part of the responsibility of the southern Mediterranean countries that have, in spite of the Agadir process, which is, a very positive issue per se, but have been very much aimed to work on a separate basis and try to develop bilateral relations with Europe, but never working as a region as such. In 2010 and then 2012, there has been the foundation of the creation of the Euro-Mediterranean Free Trade Area. We are still there. Nothing happened. And we have a free trade agreement up with Vietnam or with South Korea, etc. But again, we could go on with that kind of example. I won't take part in that. Is it so? On the other side, it is not exactly accurate what I'm saying, because the two sides of the Mediterranean are very close. People move, people come. Whatever it costs, they do come, as we know, sometimes with very tragic traveling. We have, and this is one of the paradoxes of all this story, we have a huge diaspora of people coming from the southern Mediterranean countries, living in Europe. Many of them become, since a long time, citizens of the European Union. So there is a human factor connecting between the two sides, well deep present in our society. And we do have something that is not obvious with many other regions in the world, a common heritage, common past, common history, and of course, common geography. So there is, and Venice history, of course, in a city like that, we could not need to remind the importance of Venice in enhancing cooperation centuries after centuries with the rest of the Mediterranean. But as a matter of fact, there is a gap between the institutional and the cultural and the society level of interactions, and then what is actually there in the physical experience and the geographical experience of the two sides of the Mediterranean. Where we should look to, probably we should look to something that we have never looked before. The idea that has been put forward by SAPORITO, the new coin and digital language, etc., which is there very much so as a sort of new Esperanto, but a bottom project, not coming really from the top, developing because people simply use these kind of things, is certainly an area where we have a common platform. The establishment of low-cost flights by Ryanair with some, actually two only, countries in the southern Mediterranean countries has proved to be a major instrument in terms of actual building infrastructures of getting people together. And this is true also for the European Union, by the way, because the kind of infrastructures and low-cost flights are there in order to get people knowing each other within Europe is actually a very useful instrument if well managed, clearly. If we look at the project Zaked Electronic Village, which is an Abu Dhabi project, which develops exclusively apps that everybody can have, and I welcome you, invite you to go and search for the electronic village. The amazing job they do with very popular apps in order to get people together in spite of different society, different values and this and that, etc. It's something which is amazing. We have never been working as European Union on development of apps, and apps are super powerful, isn't it? Because it's on everybody's mobile phone, everybody's smartphone. This is something that goes in the pockets of individuals. If we look to rap music, for instance, rap music, which is not my taste, but it's certainly a common phenomenon between the two sides of the Mediterranean, and it should be looked about also that kind of phenomenon and the kind of gathering of people altogether. I would go for other example. Time is constraints. Just finish with the fact that there is a new generation very much so in the Mediterranean. 50% of, actually 25% of the population of the southern Mediterranean is below 20. 50% is below 30. So I won't say anything about the average age of the European Union. So our generation somehow failed. A lot of ideas, a lot of projects, but as a matter of fact, not much happening. It's a new generation that is emerging, is coming, will come definitely, and in big, big numbers. And it will be probably up to them to make the fears that we launch will be transformed in actual bridges between the two states.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rinaldi. It was a very relevant insights, especially on the interlinkages between not only geography, but also generations. So thank you very much. I think we can now transfer or show you a video from Mr. TOUSSAINT TIENDREBEOGO, who's the chief of the Diversity of Expression Entity and the secretary of the UNESCO 2005 Convention at the UNESCO Culture Sector. So I'll mute myself and I'll let Giovanni play.
Mr. President of the Observatory on Digital Communication, dear panelists, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to address you today on behalf of the UNESCO Assistant Director General for Culture, Mr. Ernesto Ottone, on the occasion of the 26th Euromediterranean Conference on Cinema. I would like to begin by thanking the Observatory on Digital Communication for the invitation and for organizing this important event once again this year. This year's film, Mobile Cinema, a new current for young Euromediterraneans to cultivate peace and tolerance, takes place in a rapidly changing world. It is more important than ever to remember that peace requires persistent and ongoing work by every part of our societies. Peace is more than the absence of war. In an increasingly diverse and interconnected world, it can only be achieved through human connection based on tolerance, mutual respect, and understanding. In the face of social and political crises, these principles are too often eroded. However, culture, disseminated through our diverse cultural expressions, represents an important lever for overcoming these obstacles. Among the various forms that our cultural expressions can take, cinema has a unique capacity to inspire empathy and foster a sense of shared humanity. By representing our societies in all their complexity and contradictions, cinema offers a window to our identities, allowing us to relate to others and better understand the nature of our connections. As we observe the rapid evolution of artificial intelligence and new digital technologies, we continue to see threats to the survival of diversity of our cultural expressions, but we must also seize the new opportunities that come with these evolutions. Indeed, on the one hand, the algorithm of digital platforms and generative artificial intelligences encourage the homogenization of cultural content. On the other hand, the increased ease with which digital cultural content can be shared with a wide audience could facilitate intercultural exchange and sharing if we manage to provide the right framework for these new technologies. To this end, UNESCO continues its efforts to stimulate global policy dialogue to support a fair and equitable digital transition on the creative sector and reaffirm culture as a global public good. For example, a reflection group on the diversity of cultural expressions in the digital environment was recently set up with a mandate to present recommendations to the parties to the 2005 Convention on the Protection and Promotion of the Diversity of Cultural Expressions. The UNESCO World Conference on Cultural Policies and Sustainable Development, MONDIACULT 2025, to be held in HOSSAM 2025 in Barcelona, will be an opportunity to pursue this important discussion. Once again, congratulations to everyone who helped in making this conference a reality. I wish you productive and highlighting discussions. Thank you very much for your attention.
Vision. So please take a seat. President Saporito, would you like to sit here or shall I? I will. Okay. So welcome. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here today because the topic of the year this year is very dear to my heart. I've spent decades of my professional life in the Mediterranean area trying to build dialogue between the various shores of the Mediterranean. And I have to say that, unfortunately, through the last years, most of the memory of what was launched has been gone. And people start like if nothing was made before. In reality, a lot has been done all over this year. There has been the creation of the Anna Lindh Foundation. Anna Lindh was killed just because of that in Sweden, because of the dialogue that she wanted to have with the Muslim world. And she paid with her life. Correctly, it was named to her this foundation, the foundation that tried to create a network of civil society around the two shores of the Mediterranean. There has been the creation of the European Mediterranean Assembly, Parliamentary Assembly, that I hope will be represented here by Mr. Migliore, that is a way for the Parliament to connect the one to the others. There's been the COPEM that connect the broadcasters and the producers of all the Mediterranean area. There's been later the UPM that tried to give more political cooperation between the various areas of the Mediterranean. There is the network of cinema schools. There has been the UNESCO status of the artist that was trying to create tools to allow artists to move freely across the borders and especially across the Mediterranean and European space. All these initiatives, unfortunately, are lagging behind and are lacking of a network that could, and an infrastructure, a framework that could put all together. Some of these initiatives are still active and productive. The dialogue, for instance, in the broadcasting area is very fruitful. The next year meeting will be in Jordan. The last one has been in Naples, so there is a continuity of this dialogue. But without having, as Rinaldi mentioned before, a policy that put together all these things and make sense of all these efforts, unfortunately, they are damned not to produce the effort that we expect for them. Unfortunately, this largely is part of the fault of the political decision of Europe in the last 20 years. The Barcelona process, I was there, so I remember very well what we expect from that. We expect that soon could start the free trade area that still never started up. We were told that there would be special agreement for crossing the borders between these areas, and nothing happened. Why did nothing happen? Because 95 comes just before 204. Not for chronological reason only, but because in 204 and since 2000, let's say, all the focus of attention of the European Union was on the enlargement to the east. Okay, the collapse of the Berlin Wall gave another priority at Europe at that time. And since then, we never recovered this lack of this distraction, this lack of attention. In fact, for instance, what happened is that at the beginning there was a commissioner of the European Commission dedicated to the neighboring the east and another one for the south. Then this disappeared, and there was one all for all neighboring countries. By the way, since this merger, this role has been always played by somebody from the eastern countries or from countries of Europe, North Europe, looking at this. So in reality, what happened is that the South has been totally neglected and forgot all along these years. This is very unfortunate, and we are paying a price for that. We are paying a price because the idea that democracy could be built in Eastern country, we have seen that was not irreversible process, but is a process that can be challenged at every time. Look at Hungary, look at Poland, look at Slovakia, etc. We have to struggle in order to obtain the ENFA after 20 years of fight, in order to create a common level for dialogue, democracy, and communication across European Union. But also, the other problem is that now we are considering the migrants program. What in reality could have been a process of dialogue between the two shores of the Mediterranean in order to collaborate all together. And this not only backfired on us as Europeans of the North Shore, but also on the South, because the involution in Egypt towards an authoritarian regime, and recently, more even frustrating, in Tunisia, that was the country where democracy has the best chance to establish in a permanent way. I think that this is a mistake. We are all responsible, because we didn't ask to our politicians, we didn't ask to our representatives to pay attention to that. And the consequence of this mistake are still there. I hope that in the next days, when the new European Commission will be announced, there will be finally, again, a commissioner with a special attention for Mediterranean. I think that what happens in Gaza, what happens in Yemen, in the Suez Canal, etc., cry evidence that we need that there is a special attention to that, that cannot be merged in a generic cooperation between all the neighboring countries. Coming back to our specificity, there is this famous phrase attributed to the Lord. The Lord says that it was not him to say, if I have to start to build Europe, I will start from culture. Even if it's not in this phrase, it's very well done and very well said. And if we want to have a dialogue between all the shores of the Mediterranean, we have to start from culture. Some institutions are already there. Simply, as I said before, we need to put in a perspective to give a common objective where to go. Because at the moment, with all this initiative, or keep at the level of cooperation, but without going further. I've listened with very attention to what Undersecretary of State mentioned, for instance, an Erasmus for journalists between the South and the North of Mediterranean. This was a proposal that was launched in Barcelona 20 years ago, never realized, but it's very simple to be done, very easy to concretize, doesn't demand a lot of money. The public service broadcaster within the European Broadcasting Union were ready to do so, but they need some help because they cannot do on their own money, and they cannot do without the help of the institution, because the permits issue is crucial. Because to get an Arab journalist on stage in Switzerland to get the Schengen permission took more than 1 year. So after that, the people give up because it's too complicated, too costly, and very difficult to obtain. So I think that we can do, but in order to do, we need to work together, the politics on one side, because without the political level, we cannot go very far. The cultural side is already there. all these institutions are still there working. The dialogue today is a proof that there is an interest for that. UNESCO forgot the plan that was launched exactly 20 years ago for the Euro-Mediterranean dialogue in the area of culture and cinema. In theory, next Secretary General of UNESCO has to be somebody from the Arab region, if they respect the rotation. So probably this could bring again the attention to this part of the world and to the culture as a tool of dialogue between this area. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mazzoni, for highlighting the difficulties, but also the opportunities that lay in our territory. I think that I pass the word to PIERPAOLO.
No, I agree with you, but I am not. I not feel guilty about that fall because we noted that the culture has lost any power in terms of political decision. So the last item, okay, and that the result is there, not only in Mediterranean. Why? Maybe the level of culture, of knowledge of some people are so low and the effects are so bad. I'm sorry to say, but that needed to be clear. So it's not our cruelty, but it's because it's empty around.
Yes, I
Shall I
think.
use this?
Yes, please. Then.
Okay.
Present also yourself.
Yes, I can come.
Yes.
1 second. Sorry, I didn't want to intrude in the program. My name is Elisabetta Noli. I work for the Global Campus of Human Rights. It is a network of about 100 universities across the globe. Our program is funded by the European Union since more than 20 years now. And I wanted to shed a little light in this framework of difficulties in, for sure, giving institutional framework to the Euro-Mediterranean relationships and in general of the many projects that didn't necessarily end in being implemented fully. But let's say in our program, our program is a sort of federation that includes regional programs from all parts of the world. And the first one to start was the European one, and we are based here on Lido. It's about, we have 42 universities from all over Europe that take part in the program. And we organize the student exchanges on the field between universities with the focus on human rights and democratization. On the model of our organization, of our European program, others were created in other regions. And we have one also that is based in Beirut for the Arab region, with the University of Saint Joseph in Beirut. And other universities that are part of the same network are Tunisia with Carthage University. We have Rabat University for Morocco. And we also have Birzeit University in Ramallah, so for Palestine. It's a hugely difficult program to run. Of course, the recent also war stages makes things very difficult for both professors and students to take part in the lectures and in the program, but it works. There are a lot of very motivated and engaged students from both the region and also Europe. And we continue to cooperate in this framework also across different regions, as our general network is also comprised of university from other areas. So the East Europe that was mentioned before, but also the Caucasus, now Central Asia. And I want just to again stress the importance of education at all levels. In our cases, is at the postgraduate level on transversal issues like human rights and democracy, as extremely important to foster a new way of thinking also at the relations within the Mediterranean. Last but not least, we organize also our programs, and one in particular is on cinema, human rights, and advocacy. We just ended our last edition of this training course that we organize here on Lido during the film festival. And again, this is attended by professionals in the field of cinema and in the academy, in the academic world, and students from all over the world that come here to Lido and look into the cinema and media as a way to convey human rights messages. So yeah, let's try to build on the existing activities. There are some that work with all the difficulties, and so I wanted to share my experience.
I thank you very much, and I make a little announcement because yesterday we decided to join the effort, and the next year edition will be a guest of your university, a marvelous place. It's just in San Niccolò, the abbey, you know? And so, thank you so much to come and welcome next year.
So thank you very much, Professor Noli. Now we take a little break to announce the winner of the 36th edition of the Premio Fulchignoni, Enrico Fulchignoni. So I kindly ask the jurors of the award, so Professor Yasmina Bogic, President PIERPAOLO Saporito, Mr. Giacomo Mazzone, and Mr. Alessandro Mandelli to come here with us. It's a great pleasure to have here the team and the production and everyone who's been involved in the work. So I leave the floor perhaps to Jasmina to, if you want to read and to announce. Oh, I can do it. Okay. So I'm very pleased to announce that the winner of the 36th edition of the Enrico Fulchignoni Award promoted by the Conseil International du Cinéma et de la Télévision, that is the official partner at the UNESCO, is The Fisherman by Zoe Martinson. So I kindly ask the director and the entire team to come here on stage so that we can give and we can confer you the Fellini Medal. So we're here all together. So please come here. The video camera.
So director is here, producers are there, and we also have an actress still on the island.
Oh, thank you. So I thank Professor Neirotti for being here with us and for organizing. Yes. I leave the floor to Jasmine and then perhaps the director.
Yeah, so we would love to hear from the directors and the whole team, because it's always for us, for the jury member, to watch the film and actually, of course, to be inspired by the film. But the main and the most important thing is actually how the team came together with this amazing idea to bring the story, which all inspired us to give it the award. So you can tell us a little bit more about the beginning of the process.
Oh yes, it started as a short film, and the impetus for the short film was that we were filming something else in Ghana, and at the same time they were about to kind of demolish this part called Jamestown, which was a traditional fishing village, to build a new modern seaport. And we thought, oh, wow, rapid development is coming so quickly because Jamestown had been fishing in the same way since like the 1600s. And so we wanted to document it, but I am not a documentary director. And so I kind of thought about this funny fishy tale about a fish coming out of the sea to guide this fisherman. And so it had this life, the short film that went on to do quite well. And we just thought it was a fun short film to do. And so that started the idea of making it into a feature film and drawing on kind of my life experiences, having lived in Keita, which is a small fishing community, and also wanting to capture the essence of Ghanaian culture and the comedy and the humor that I often find when I'm there, but don't often see reflected in the cinema that makes it outside of the country. And so all of those things kind of combined with Kofi, our producer's continual pressure, helped us apply for the Venice Biennale College Cinema, where we worked on it with the lab and then, or script lab, and then were ultimately chosen, and then we were given the grant.
Now,
Thank you so much for this information. Thank you.
Fellini Medal.
Congratulations, and also my question is for the producer. So obviously, getting this fabulous film to all the audience and bringing to the Venice, can you just let us know about the difficulties of getting funding for this important project?
I mean, prior to us applying for the program at the Biennale, when she was done, I mean, we had an idea that we wanted to do the film, but we didn't know where to get the funding, and that was our headache. So her applying for the program and us getting in was, for me, it was like the first step, and then gradually, you know, step by step, we finally got the grant, which was a huge relief. And then we were so happy to get the project out and everybody to see the outcome.
That's wonderful. Congratulations, and also to the whole team. And
So to congratulate.
Well, this is our job. Our job is to select projects from all over the world that can be produced in a year with 200,000 euros and to follow them through a series of workshops for 1 year. And so, yes, they were chosen twice. They were chosen for the first selection, where we select 12 teams that work for 10 days on the island of San Servolo. And then a second time, when from those 12 teams, we go to the 4 teams that we actually support financially, so the film can be shot and can be shown here in the official selection. Of course, we're not in competition because we couldn't actually, because the fund is given by the Biennale di Venezia. So it's 4 projects, 200,000 euros each. And they're selected because, of course, of the intense motivations behind the project, but also for the teamwork. And they're an incredible team across countries and for many other reasons. But it was also a great success.
when you say across the countries, can you just tell us a little bit about these countries?
In their case, here we have Ghana, United States, we have a collaboration across countries. But in general, see, the problem in funding, especially first and second feature, has to do sometimes with, funds and laws. When you are granting and you want to do a micro budget, and La Biennale decided that we would give this money, and actually they cannot raise the financing extra. So they have to do the film, and it has to be conceived for that amount. And so this frees them from the necessity of finding other funding. What does this also mean? That this is a case across countries, but for example, in the past, we've already produced 72 films in the past 12 years. So in the past, we've had, for example, an Italian producer with a Japanese director shooting in the Philippines. So creative collaborations come first because you do not need to follow particular rules to get the producing rule going. So this is what is extraordinary, because it becomes a community, the college. This year, We just announced the new selection, but already in their selection, I think we had participants from 15 countries among the producers and the directors. And so overall, in the past 12 years, it's been 48 countries. And they're all working side by side together on their own projects. But of course, conversations, living together, and actually we're isolated on the island of San Servolo. That is beautiful because we can really create the college atmosphere, and then in 10 minutes we're in Venice. I mean, I know there's problems with the food sometimes, but who cares? We love the place. We've been there for many years. So this is what's happening. And this year the projects were hers from Ghana and US, Ukrainian project. We've actually been with the Ukrainian project to the campus, and we always have a collaborations because the Ukrainian was shot during the war, and it talks about the war, and then an Italian project and a Hungarian project. This was the selection for this year. Sorry, it's taking long.
Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Might I add something?
Thank you.
Might I add something? Yes. I just want to read out a passage from the motivation for why we gave the Enrico Fulchignoni Award to the fishermen and to you. So the Conseil International du Cinéma et de la Télévision, attentive to the teachings of Jean Rouch and in line with the value of UNESCO, which has long been committed to promoting African cinema on the international stage, sees in this work not only merit for the director and an encouragement for Ghanaian and African cinema, but also an invitation to the international community to recognize cinema as a means of inclusion, accessibility, and shared creativity, fully embracing emerging cross-country talents. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Wow. Okay.
Thank you very much for being here, and congratulations once again.
Congratulations for the winner from Paris CICT.
I think that now we have a message from a professor who's from Africa, from Egypt. So we're very pleased to show his message, and he's also been proposing, he's online, and he's also been proposing some great suggestions and proposals that should be taken up and included in the final declarations that we're going to draft. So we will send, I will present Dr. HOSSAM Badrawi, who is the chairman of the Nile Badrawi Foundation for Education and Development from Egypt. Thank you.
Dear Professor Saporito, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues, I first would like to apologize for not being with you in person. However, I share with you the passion and the objectives of the conference and the readiness to participate in the future action plans. You all know that Egypt's position in the Mediterranean is not just a geographical issue. It is deeply historical and cultural. Egypt was a beacon of knowledge and culture. The city of Alexandria became one of the most important centers of learning in the ancient world. The Library of Alexandria, Bibliotheca Alexandrina, was a symbol of the Mediterranean's role as a meeting place for knowledge attraction. Scholars from across the region, this tradition of intellectual exchange is something we continue to draw inspiration from today. Egypt stands out as a symbol of continuity and resilience. Despite the many challenges, Egypt has maintained its cultural identity and has been a stabilizing force in the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean has always been more than just a body of water. It is a cradle of civilization, a crossroad of cultures, and a living testament to humanity's shared heritage. From the Phoenicians and the Greeks to the Egyptians and Ottomans, this region has been a hub for exchange of goods, ideas, people for thousands of years. Yet today, as we stand at the intersection of the past glory and future potential, the Mediterranean is also a mirror of the global crisis and opportunities. In this great basin, empires have risen and fallen, religions have intertwined, and cultures have converged. The Mediterranean Sea is not just a geographic feature, it is a symbol of human connectivity. But it has also been a stage of conflict, a place where differences in religion, culture, and politics have led to strife. This duality, this constant tension between conflicts and collaboration is what makes the Mediterranean unique, and it is why its future is so crucial to the world. We recognize the importance of institutions like the UNESCO, which have long sought to harness the Mediterranean's potential for fostering peace and cooperation. UNESCO launched years ago the Mediterranean Program, a bold initiative aimed at promoting new institutions, NGOs, and projects across the region. This program was built on belief that through dialogue and collaboration, the Mediterranean could become a model of peaceful coexistence. Many of these initiatives are still active today, testament to the enduring power of institutional support in shaping the region's destiny. But the Mediterranean of today is facing new challenges that are global in nature but have particularly acute impact on the region. Political instability, migration crisis, environmental degradation are just few of the pressing issues. Traditional institutions continue to play a vital role, but they are often stretched to their limits. At the same time, there is a growing sense that these challenges cannot be solved by institutions alone. We need the energy, creativity, and the innovation of the next generation. Here is where the opportunity lies. Today's youth are more connected than ever before. They are creating a new language, a common cultural and linguistic framework that transcends national boundaries. These young people are not just passive recipients of culture, they are active creators, shaping a new Mediterranean identity that is inclusive, dynamic, and forward-looking. As I discussed with Professor Saporito, I second the proposal that we should take a bold step forward, creating a new virtual digital meeting place where people from across the Mediterranean can come together to share ideas, engage in dialogue, and build a shared vision of peace and tolerance. That multaqa would be more than just a platform, it would be a community, a space where the voices of young people are heard and where they can lead the way in addressing the region's challenges with the experience of the older. In conclusion, the fate of the Mediterranean is not just a matter of preserving the past. It is about building the future. It is about empowering the next generation to take ownership of their shared heritage and use it as a foundation for more peaceful, more tolerant Mediterranean community. Let us together support them in this endeavor. For in doing so, we ensure that the Mediterranean remains a beacon of civilization, new civilization, not just in history, but in years to come. Thank you all. HOSSAM Badrawi.
Thank you, HOSSAM. I deeply appreciate your word and most of your proposal, because we need that action. So we are ready. We can continue to discuss, to work together with also all the present, because they are concerned. Egypt can have a main role, and you and your organization is, I'm very proud to work with you, and maybe one of the next meeting we'll do in your seat in Cairo. And thank you again, and see you soon.
So now I have the pleasure to present the director of the Accademia e Filmito de Multimedia Smarubi in Albania, KUJTIM ÇASHKU, who is here with us, and I'm very pleased that you have him here.
I need to present KUJTIM because it's more than 20 years, we know, more, maybe more, because we meet just when the war finishes. And thank you to you, we have launched as a Conseil International du Cinéma the Tirana Film Festival, and was the mayor, no, the cultural minister was Edi Rama, and I remember the determination of KUJTIM, all the filmmaker, all the, it's a great community, cultural, theater, music, and cinema. Also the Alba Film, and you rebuilt, so it's a great example of a renaissance, because it was completely devastated, the country. So I'm very proud to host here, and thank you to Kat.
Thank you, PIERPAOLO. So thank you even for the patient for staying with us, and you that just got the prize, and congratulations to you. So that's, yeah, I will go shortly because, you know, time to time, we have to realize what is going on with our brain generation, what we are talking. It's just 7 seconds concentration, and then the layers, they are going, and we participate in some other elements with associations and different kind of interests that we have. So it's a great dilemma. We are living in a paradox, absurdities, and all the other things. So time to time, it's not such easy to administrate yourself, like individuals, societies, and then going on with this planet that everybody has in a pocket. So do all this changing so speed that we cannot have the capacity for the moment for digesting that kind of dynamic. So dilemmas remain, and we are nothing else, just the victimization by all the perception that we are creating, because time, space, and place have changed. Also, the system of information, communication, information have changed. So there are a lot of things, and there are stereotypes of the way that how you just do the synthesization of the things in that world that we are living without understanding. For example, last year, going to this direction of paradox, I was in Kiev, and then it was exactly, I was a jury there, and so for me it was a surprise, because from Cannes, in the middle Kiev, and then here it's, you know, the festival of Venice. But the paradox it was, because exactly after that, we just had to do this kind of ceremony of words. and the Syrians just arrived, the drones and rockets, and we had to go, all the jury outside, and the people to go to refugees. So this is the paradox that we are living without understanding that we are talking in space not more than 2 hours from here. So that is a lot of other things. So I cannot go to this theme direction, but I believe to certain things that I consider for example, concerning the UNESCO, perception of the UNESCO like a perception of heritage that has to reconsider totally the heritage that of the cinema, because we have more than 120 years, and we don't realize that how to explore this kind of. It's not like exploring, all kind of heritage related with the archaeology and the other form of treasury of human beings, history, but also this that transformed really the world, and brought another perception of the understanding. That's as you know, there are a lot of things happening. Books are written if Hollywood has done America or America Hollywood. So in a way, even if we go even globally to say that how the world has changed with the cinema. Now it's very difficult. It's now the price of Fellini that you give. But if you took a student to stay and to look a movie of Fellini 1 hour and a half, 2 hours, he cannot stay there. So that's in a way that to be very realistic. So that will have to come down to another level. So how extensive policy can work much more stronger for changing all the perception of communication and education. So in that way, I don't believe to the mobile cinema. That is another, calamity by destroying the magic things of, of darkness. Darkness is really the power of everything. So that it was the magic of cinema, took the darkness and get the people to go and, to emigrate to a place that they feel safe, or, creating another perception of the world that we are living. So in that way, but I'm stopping because I'm afraid of by itself, my microphone. So I love very much that I had just to come for 24 hours like this. I just came from airport here, tomorrow morning being back, because I'm organizing the International Humor Ice Film Festival in Albania from 19 years. And then I'm realizing the dynamic of the crime, because, every year, seeing 3,300 movies related with the violation of human rights, we see also, what is the tendency from year by year of these kind of crimes that happen to this world that we are living. And the crimes, they are horrible. That means in a different kind of perception, where I'm not talking, because mostly we talk about the importance of the policy and politics and all kind of, just tying now all kind of budget, how to go for security, for defense. So in a way, how to bring people to get more and more involved, to feel that they have to live in a permanent world, because, as you know quite well, that helps a lot of richer companies, biggers, also all kind of, victimization that still the phantoms they are doing, by considering territories, considering resources, considering everything that has happened to the history. So it's kind of, but I believe to the UNESCO, because focusing that kind of, heritage, I would say that still the voice of UNESCO is very weak. It's just mostly the museum perception of them, instead of being active, instead of playing another role, and time to time, very determinative role, because even can go behind of the politician, behind the structures, even including some, considering, as we call time to time, the structure they are going with the security, or the structure they are going. So the voice, for example, I don't realize, never have been accusation by crimes of humanity for the catastrophe that had happened to this world by the part of UNESCO. So I'm a very critical person, but I'm your friend, Saporito, and I love that your efforts, that how you keep this frame and breathe for continuing and believing to things that you are doing, because you are a career of architect, but also this virus of cinema you cannot escape in your life. So thank you very much for your attention. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you. I want to also remember.
Bravo, bravo.
I want to remember that you win our award with in 1995 with Colonel Bunker, and it's still a great movie, but it disappeared. You can relaunch, you can, because it's a masterpiece.
I can think that is a theme that I try to talk about crimes. Time to time, the politics, there are certain things that they do, but the artist, the art usually, the culture is a supreme court. Why? I can say to you, you never had to realize what has been the Nazi without literature, without movies, without everything. Pierpaolo is talking about bunkers in Albania. Yes, my producer, it was a dictator. He put 500,000 bunkers in Albania, and so I said, thank you, you are criminal, but let me do a movie about crimes that you have done. So you have to be very attentive for the things that we do. So instead of, virusing with all kinds of extraterrestrial, they are very, very crucial problem that really had to be, on a focus. Politicians, for the things that they do, how they can cause horrible things in the world. So that is, I am not going now to different things, but I think that, for example, Garone, I am also presenting the movie of him, just bringing all kind of, immigration, but structure of criminalities, how they arrive and saying Italia. So that is in a way discovering things that really, time to time, the interest of the economy, countries, companies, they don't have interest to say something. Okay, they can say, but going things with all kind of refugee and all kind of crisis. But instead of that, what are the profit about that? So let's put a question, what are the profit of the war also? And we have to be focused, like we are a very small group, but you are in Ghana, but I'm talking, for, even being one person for me is important. And I remember in cinema Trieste, in Miele cinema, it's only one spectator that remained forever there. Yes. And it's James Joyce. So it's a piece of wood, James Joyce staying there, because he was a projectionist. So, and if you go there in Trieste, please just go to this cinema and you see James Joyce staying like a statue, because he was a projectionist and he created this literature by, being from up there to see and going to see how the audience will see this projectionist man doing the movie for the other. So thank you, stopping here. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. ÇASHKU, for highlighting the power of culture and cinema. We now have a video message from Mr. Brando Benifei, who has been newly elected to the European Parliament. So I'll mute myself.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm sorry I cannot be with you in person, but I hope this video message can bring a little input to your important discussion. I think it's crucial that the Mediterranean countries and the cultural landscape of our territory, of our neighborhood, is made stronger through the support of institutions. It's crucial for cultural exchange, it's crucial to build understanding between peoples, it's crucial to stop wars and build more solidarity and more unity. And this can be done through art, through culture, but also intertwining this with institutional efforts. This means, I say that from the European Parliament, institution building, statehood building, support for NGOs, support for democracy. This is an holistic process. We need culture to become a vehicle of understanding, of exchange, but we need also institutions to support the development of these exchanges. We need, in fact, for example, the European Union, when thinking of the next multi-annual financial framework, the next multi-annual budget of the European Union. We are starting this discussion now. We need to imagine a budget where cultural exchange and cultural relations in the Mediterranean and in the neighborhoods in general is much more prioritized. I think that the European Union needs to play much more its role of a soft power bringer to the table, builder of connections and bridges. I think this is our vocation, it's what we should do, and this will need to be done with institution connections, but also by investing in education, in exchanges, in relations between our peoples, their associations, their cultural institutions. This is why it's important to talk about these topics in the framework of the Venice Festival, in this context, in this occasion, because I think that the future of the Union, and we are now in a special moment because we are about to examine our future commissioners, the future ministers of the European Union, the ones that have to administer the workings of the European Union. We will evaluate the proposals of these new people leading our Union. We are in a crucial moment, so for pushing for more effort in this direction. In fact, we have seen some losses in the past years that we need to acknowledge. Some places close to us have become more authoritarian, less inclined to exchange, also in the neighborhood of the Mediterranean, in North Africa, in the Middle East. More closure, more difficulties, and also, if I may mention a different scenario, but that gives us the idea of what happened in these years, is the issue of Brexit and the impact on the cultural exchanges with the country. But also think of what happened with Turkey and the difficulties now of keeping our cultural exchanges with the European instruments. So we need to focus on creativity, on artistic expression as a means to build more closeness between our peoples. I think we need to do more, we need to work together. I think this mandate should also focus in developing more projects linked to these objectives and to connect to the wider international cooperation at UN level, at the OECD level, at the Union for the Mediterranean level that is also strongly participated by the European Parliament. So there is a lot to do, a lot we can and we should work on together in the next months and years. I just wanted to give you a brief overview of some pathways of reflections and of issues where we should work together. The different institutions and the civil society role crucial in this effort to connect and intertwine different issues and different instances. So thank you for this opportunity, for this brief input, and let's keep in touch and let's continue working together. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Mr. Benitei. We are more than eager to work together at all levels, corporate, business, NGOs, and of course also at the European Union. So now I have the pleasure to present Anna Opacic, if that's correct, who's the director of the Ohrid Beach Film Festival in the Republic of North Macedonia. So please, Anna, it's very nice to meet you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much, Martina, and thank you for your nice email that you've been sending to me. Ciao a tutti. I always have a feeling when I'm on some kind of these events that I'm always the youngest, and again, it's true. Just something out of topic. Next year, I should be shooting my debut feature film. And Signore Pierpaolo, you would be a perfect casting for my film. I'm so sorry that you don't live closer and probably you don't know Macedonian, but you. Yes, yes.
I was in
Just
in 1998, and
oh, I'm 35, so.
yeah, in Ohrid, it's a fantastic place, and we was between the launched the festival that time, and was not a safe place at that moment, but fortunately now it's better, and the movie and the festival is growing in compliment for that.
So perhaps he's a right character to be casted.
So my name is Ana. I'm from Croatia. I was born in Trogir. That is a sea town under the UNESCO heritage. Then I moved to Split. It's also sea town under the UNESCO heritage. And now I run a film festival at Ohrid. It's also under the UNESCO heritage. So somehow this topic is familiar and close to me personally. I bring some photos, so maybe we can show it. Ohrid Beach Film Festival, it's a festival of the new European film, but in focus we have Mediterranean films. Okay, it will see it. So behind me, you will see a few locations where the festival is being held. All locations are in the old part of the town. As I mentioned, we are dedicated to Mediterranean films, and every year we celebrate a different Mediterranean country. For example, last year we had a country in focus, Spain, and we screened recent films from Spain cinematography. A lot of films at our festivals are made by female directors. It's not like in purpose that we are watching the films and if we see that it's female directors, so we will select it. Just the films and the brave topics that female directors are doing, it's suitable for our festival and for the festival atmosphere. Festival is dedicated to younger film authors, and we screen their first and second films. And probably you know how hard it is to get a film for your first and second film. So it's like a platform for the young filmmakers. Even though festival is for a younger audience, we have a special jury. It's plus 65 people that giving a prize for the student and for the short films. And Ohrid Lake is the oldest lake in the world. Okay, you can maybe show some other photos. This boat, that is something that's unique and special for our festival. So we have screenings at this boat. So every festival night we have like night screenings. And in Ohrid, it's a difficult situation because there is no cinema at Ohrid, and there is no option for people to go to cinema and watch films during the year. So during those 5 festival days, we are trying to do our best to show as many films as we can to a different also group people. For example, we have a kids program for the our youngest audience, because we think that it's important that we start educate young generations, teach them about the diversity, about the different cultures, different nations, and similar stuff. The thing that we are doing after festival, in less than 10 days, we are starting on a film camp on Prespa Lake. Prespa Lake is almost abandoned and forgotten lake. Maybe we can say that we are building a bridge between Albania, Greece, and Macedonia, because Prespa Lake is on the border on those three countries. And film makers from those three countries will come to Prespa Lake, to the Macedonian side, and they are going to shoot a documentary film about cultural heritage from that region. And Martina strictly wrote in the mail that we need to be 5 or 6 minutes, so I'm trying not to be speak longer. There is one sentence, and it said that if you put a finger in the sea, you are connected with the whole world. Macedonia, we don't have a sea, we have a lake, and I still hope so that by the phenomenon of the water, we are trying to connect people, make bridges, and every year invite more and more people to our festival.
Thank you very much, Anna. I think you're doing a very great job. It must not be very easy, so thank you for being so young and for representing such a great effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
For now, we have, these are some more pictures of Oakley. Now we have a video message from the Deputy Secretary General of COPEAM, that is Paola Parri. So.
Good afternoon. First, let me greet everybody and thank the CICT for inviting COPEAM once again to contribute to this annual conference in Venice. As a cradle of civilizations and encounters of people, the Mediterranean constitutes a synthesis of today's world's crises and opportunities, very often not adequately expressed nor fully exploited. Now, the digital wave is redefining the role, the shape, and the mission of the Mediterranean community. And in this context, the UNESCO Mediterranean Programme, born in 1995 and grouping together 100 activities, projects, and networks, could be renewed jointly with intergovernmental and national initiatives to create a new critical mass of convergent actions and strategies capable of restoring a vivid hope to the new Mediterranean generations for the construction of a great cultural community. As you may know, COPEAM is the network of the Mediterranean audiovisual operators. Most of our projects are implemented through cross-national and multilateral collaborative patterns that involve media organizations from different countries and with different professional and cultural backgrounds. We believe that to effectively unlock the cultural potential of our region, we all, CSOs, institutions, international organizations, and media organizations, must support international exchanges and cooperation, cross-sector collaborations, creative cross-fertilizations, in particular involving young people. In a moment when the market and the communication trends are globally flattening and standardizing the cultural and audiovisual offer, we need to find ways to protect and support original contents that maintain freshness and authenticity, that are still able to tell new stories in original ways, that can shed light to corners of the world that are still to be discovered or better understood. If we really want to create an aware and active Mediterranean next generation, we must better support new talents, make easier professional mobility that nowadays has become even worse than in the past, meaning that getting a visa to Europe is an almost impossible mission, thus representing a huge obstacle to international collaborations in this part of the world, and promote media and digital literacy among youngsters to fight against hate speech, disinformation, misinformation, that are today the main dangers for the young. We need more attention from the institutions and a greater willingness to collaborate between public and private sectors. In this perspective, in the last years, COPIAM has tried to support the new cinema talents of the South Mediterranean side through the A Premier View project, aimed at promoting the short films produced by cinema students. The project is growing year by year, involving new partners and offering new professional chances to the young filmmakers that are ready to enter the job market. It is just a small contribution to a big challenge that we all share, making the Mediterranean region where creativity and culture really become strategic assets, able to offer job opportunities to young people and convert into fuel for a rich and respectful public debate and social cohesion. We must work on this challenge together, and we must do it urgently if we want to fight against current violence and conflicts and build together a peaceful Mediterranean for the future of all of us. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Parri. We now have Mr. Serge Michel with us online. I think that you can hear us. Serge Michel is the Vice President of the Conseil International du Cinéma et de la Télévision. And can you hear us, Serge?
Hello, I can hear. And you?
Yes, we can hear
you.
you.
Fine. So I can say a few words. So at first, thank you for your invitation, yes, and congratulations for this conference. Unfortunately, I cannot be here in Venezia this year. I was in Venezia last year, but this year it wasn't possible for me. And so I apologize, but I am happy having the opportunity telling you some words about topics of this year. The topic last year was about platforms and artificial intelligence. This year it's a new Mediterranean Conference. Both topics are interesting, and there are additional topics. I represent UNICA in ICFT. UNICA is the International Union for Non-Professional Filmmakers. UNICA was founded in 1937, so it's an old organization. And this organization has always has aimed to build bridges between civilizations, and particularly between the two sides of the Mediterranean. And it's not so easy. It's not so easy, and we hope that new technology can help. During the first conference in 1995, your Italian Minister of Education emphasized the importance of new technologies for dialogue among peoples. It's the same. The technology are not the same now. We are with digital technologies. However, the importance of new technologies is always the same. With Mediterranean circle, we have difficulties. At the north of Mediterranean, the most important countries with cinema are Spain, France, Italy. And in the south, we have contact with some countries. At first, with Tunisia. Tunisia is one of our older members. And there is in Tunisia a federation, the Tunisian Federation for Amateur Cineasts, which was founded in 1962, I think. And we have links, strong links with this federation. This federation, FTCA, organized a UNICA Congress in 2008. It was the year of the 50th anniversary of ICFT. Congress. It was the year of CFT. Our International Council for Cinema, Television and Audiovisual Communication. And this Tunisian Federation organizes each year a festival in Kelibia. It's an amateur organization, but we try to give opportunities to young people to become profi. And we think it is important to have such links, such bridges. And with other countries, I think Morocco, I think Malta, I think Egypt, it would be interesting and important to have such a link, such bridges. And we hope that new technologies can help, particularly young people, to do films, to have new expressions, and to build these bridges between different parts of the Mediterranean civilization. I think, I am not sure, but I think that European community was founded in Tunis also 30 or 40 years ago. So it's one of our aim. We have to build such bridges, and we hope that the next years can be opportunities to do that. Each year, UNICA organizes an international congress. Last year, it was not far from Venezia. It was in Comacchio. This year, we were in Poland. And next year, it will be in Great Britain, in Birmingham. But in 2 years, we will have a congress in North Macedonia, and I was very interesting hearing Mrs. Anna Opacic. Our film festival will take place in Skopje, and I hope that it will be an occasion, an opportunity to have contact with young people from North Macedonia, but also with contacts they have in Mediterranean area. And the year after, in 2027, UNICA Congress will take place in France, and probably in a well-known town in France. It will be in Cannes. And so we hope also that it will be possible, and it will be a great opportunity to build these bridges between those North European Mediterranean coast and the countries of South. That's important to have the new bridges between the two sides of Mediterranean Sea. It's not so easy, and we have to imagine new forms of communication. The most means we have, the most chance we have to build these bridges. So I hope that the new technology, the new koinè, can give opportunities to emphasize, to have better occasion to communicate between people, between civilization, and to have a dialogue in this area of Mediterranean countries. Thank you for your attention, and have a nice meeting.
Thank you, Serge, for your intervention, and we very look forward to discovering what UNICA and all the upcoming events you organize will be discussing. So before giving the floor to Alessandro Mandelli, we have a very short video, a very brief video from the artistic director of the Jerusalem Film Festival, who could not be here with us, but sent us this message. He was here just a few days at the festival, so I'll ask Giovanni to share it. Thank you.
Hello everybody, I am Or from the Jerusalem Film Festival. I'm really sorry I can't be there with you and meet you all in this very exciting meeting. I want to say thank you so much for the invitation. Unfortunately, the schedule didn't permit it, so I missed that. But hopefully I'll have a chance to see you soon. And if anybody wants to contact me or talk about future projects or anything else regarding our festival, then you have my email. I'm so sorry again. Thank you again. I hope you enjoy, and let's hope the future will bring bright things. Thank you.
So it was a very brief message, I promised. The situation over there is not of the easiest, so we applaud every effort to actually bring culture to everyone. So now we're here with Alessandro Mandelli, who is the founder and CEO of Serially, an Italian platform dedicated to TV series. And now we have an update. So please, Alessandro, take the floor.
Thanks to everyone. Thanks, PIERPAOLO, for the invitation. So I'm not only a member of the jury, but giving me the opportunity to say in this stage. And I think your expectation is to have a person which represent the market and experience from the market. So what we do, what we did in the last year since we create Serially is to open with a series, because crime particularly is very an attractive subject. So I think first we have to think about it, because it's one of the discovery we had from the beginning of our experience. And then we have 2 hour insight, which I think are relevant on your conversation, which obviously it's in a very high political level, but we have to know what the market wants and what the market is expecting. From one side, we saw, because the platform is free, and so it's open to everyone, and I think it's absolutely relevant and important, fundamental to spread cultures and to understand how to fight against barrier, languages barrier, linguistic barrier, which absolutely are the real problem in facing peace and tolerance. And what we discover, analyzing 500,000 of consumption registered user, we discovered that the content which is not translated in the national language is 20% of opportunity to be seen, compared to a national content of the country, which is 100% shown and seen. There is a paradox also in our case, because for Korean, for example, people want to listen in Korean because it's a way to be closer and closer to a very distant culture. And in that sense, we saw the comments from consumer which prefer to see in the national language with subtitle. So my suggestion, the comprehension from the market experience is that we have to see how to support the dubbing, and artificial intelligence for sure can help, but with the limitation of the syndicate, which are very protected in that industry, which obviously it's part of the quality also of the audiovisual production, and also subtitling, which obviously it's easier, it's less complex, but has an immediate effect in transfer the concept and what the director want to tell and the actors to the consumer, what the aim of the creation. Audio second experience, big experience is in length of contents. From one side, series create a lot of addiction from the first episode, if you are interested in the genre. But at the same time, also short contents are very, very attracting people. And the shorter content has more opportunity to get finished by consumer. So in that sense, shorts, I think it's a key to let people know history from other country and facilitate the communication within all the countries across the world. And I don't know if there is any...
You have a new feature on this series. So are you showing TV series now?
Yes.
Okay.
TV series, film, and shorts.
Okay, so I can actually...
And, so till last year, we have only a series. Now we have also films, which obviously are less expensive in terms of dubbing. And so we are happy. And in that sense, it's absolutely useful in the development and in attracting also other consumers. And shorts format.
Yes, I was saying that, Alessandro, you've been here at this conference for quite some years, and you presented the platforms, and now at the beginning it was only series, and now it's films and shorts. So you are expanding your catalog, and you're actually expanding not only your business, might I say, but also the opportunity and the accessibility for everyone to enjoy what artists create and what people can learn from art and cinema as an educational means. So thank you.
Thank you.
Two questions. One is about it's about the Mediterraneans, the people of Mediterranean are in Italy or in Europe. Which kind of influence do you have in the audience in that field? I mean Arabs, I mean a lot of new citizens.
We start with the European content, so taking content from UK, from Spain, from France, but also from Korea, from US. For sure, it's a new stage we have to face. At the moment, we have more than 50 series, more than 100 films, and 200-300 shorts in the platform. So obviously, every festival which want to give us the content, we have to think about and to see how to make it possible. And we open the door to everyone. That has been made possible through advertising, because and for this reason the platform is free. So if let's say the producer, the director accept to have to give or to interrupt the content with advertising, I think it's a new way of doing things. We have a big learns from US, where Tubi, Hulu, the biggest platform are free, and in fact they've been bought by Fox and by the channels, and also Netflix or Amazon open to advertising in order to get more and more consumers.
What about the Turkish movie? I learned Mediaset is winning the audience with Turkish.
It's a very interesting case because Turkish has been the biggest producer worldwide. They produce also for South America. The somatic or Caucasian people can work in Europe and the US and Latin America. So, and for this reason, Turkish, which are great in producing at low cost, has its benefits. And for this reason, the Turkish industry, film industry, has been the most important on series. And now also Korea is grows a lot. Last year overpassed Turkish after 10 years, and the US is in the third place.
So thank you. I'm so Mr. Di Cesare. It's expert on Di Cesare is expert on
one communication.
May I invite you to take the floor?
Sorry for my English. I am a member of the Mediterranean Conference of the Village, the Beau Village, and the initiative from the club Beau Village Italian and Beau Village, les plus beaux villages de la Terre. 27-28 September in Italy, in Cisternino. The focus is the Beau Village with model of the sustainable development. And for this mission is very necessary the storytelling. And my call is for the you think in Mediterranean people about the short, the small in the hill with is necessary the storytelling for sustainable because it is the very problem about the desertification one side and over tourism another side. Is very, very conflicted this. And I did this call for the receive the proposal for the forum for the forum about storytelling for the fiction, for the documentaries about this problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the sustainable development topic is...
So now we can ask all friends ÇASHKU and to have just a last.
No, wait. There are some messages that we have to show.
Okay, after we have.
Yes. So
discussion between us.
we have one more video message, and then I have a few statements that I will make about some attendees that could not be here today, but they send us their inputs. So I am very pleased that you showed the video message from the director of the Instructional Media Center directly from India, Professor Rizwan Hamad, who is also an active member of the Conseil International di Cinema e della Televisione. So I kindly ask Giovanni to play the video. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, President PIERPAOLO SAPORITO, for making me part of this 26th Euromediterranean Conference on cinema. And this year theme is really very, very interesting, which is on mobile cinema, which has changed the face of cinema all across the world. Mobile cinema is the byproduct of digital era, which has revolutionized the film industry all across the world. It has democratized the cinema because technology has become very, very cheap. So anyone can afford this technology and can share their stories all across the world through online platforms. Film exhibition and distribution has become very, very easy. If you have a story to tell, you have several online platforms to distribute your films, to exhibit your films. And OTT is the recent addition to this game, which is giving new voices to the young filmmakers, which are basically independent filmmakers. So if we closely look at the digital cinematic landscape, these are the 5 major takeaways of the digital cinematic landscape. Mobile filmmaking is slowly gaining the momentum all across the world. OTT has sort of changed the discourse of filmmaking and the film distribution, and rise of artificial intelligence in cinema is taking cinema to different heights. And social media is another promotional tools for especially for the young filmmakers, independent filmmakers. They need not to worry the mainstream jargons of promoting their cinema. And online access to the film festivals, is a window to the world. You can take your film to any part of the world. So these are the major takeaways of the digital cinematic landscapes. Even the prominent filmmakers from the all across world, they are shooting their films on mobile phones. If you look at the these 5 examples here in this slide, Sean Baker, the very prominent filmmaker from America, he's shot Tangerine on mobile phone. And Steven Soderbergh, another cinema veteran of Hollywood, he shot Unsane on mobile phone. And Tristan Pop, Romance in New York, was shot on mobile phone. Park Chan-wook from South Korea, one of the legendary filmmaker from South Korea, he shot Life is But a Dream on mobile phone. Fursat, another Indian film shot by one of the prominent filmmaker of India, Vishal Bhardwaj. There is another momentum going on this part of the world, especially in India. Mami is a international film festival based in Mumbai, and they have launched a project where they are promoting mobile cinema. They have chosen 5 young filmmakers and who have been mentored by prominent filmmakers of Indian cinema. So these are 5 young filmmakers which have been chosen by Mami, this Mumbai International Film Festival, under a project called Mami Select. So these 5 filmmakers are being guided by these 3 prominent established filmmakers of Indian cinema. They are guiding them to sort of short their stories from different part of India. So real democratization of this art form is being done through mobile cinema, which was otherwise not possible through the mainstream sort of filmmaking and film distribution. So these are the visuals of these 5 filmmakers who are shooting their films right from north to South India, stories from Ladakh, which is a hilly area, and then Mumbai, and then Rajasthan, Kashmir. All across India, stories are being shot by different filmmakers. They are sort of creating their part of the stories and conveying to the rest of the world. So mobile filmmaking is not just it's just not a passing fad. It's a very, very sort of creative movement which is happening all across the world now, and this is a broader cultural shift in the filmmaking now. I mean, this is defining the new aesthetics of the cinema. This is not only the inclusive filmmaking, and this is defining the new aesthetics in filmmaking now. Mobile films have taken the cinema to a different level, no doubt about it. Not only in terms of the techniques, but in terms of the aesthetics also, and in terms of its reach as well. I mean, you have several platforms to sort of, take your story to a different part of the world. And especially the proliferation of the online platforms such as, OTT platforms, YouTube, etc. They are elevating individual creators into leaders of constantly expanding movement. So these online platforms aren't merely depositories of the creative opportunities, they are the dynamic environment fostering community dialogue, ultimately the monetization of the content that finds the resources. If we look at the other opportunities of the, for example, film festivals are now available, on online. So you can sort of browse through the film festivals available all across the world, and you can submit the films to, respective genres and respective themes in different film festival. For example, I was browsing through the film freeway, and I fed my data, how many film festivals are available in Euro-Mediterranean region. Especially my first browse was about the Europe. So, and I found more than 4,000 festivals in Europe itself, which are available online. So the opportunities are massive. And if we sort of again enlarge this browsing, so this goes into several thousand. So massive opportunities are available for the young filmmakers, who can sort of shot their films on mobile phone and further promote through different film festivals online all across the world. So digital cinematic space is playing a significant role in preserving and promoting the local languages and culture. The cultures which were sort of ignored earlier, they are coming on the forefront through the mobile filmmaking. Different voices from all across the world, they are bringing their stories through mobile to the all across the world. And understanding the importance of the mobile filmmaking, my center, Instructional Media Center, is launching a short duration training course in smartphone filmmaking very soon, which is under a project called the Skilling in Media, basically. And previously also we have done some mobile filmmaking based project in past. There was one 24 hours filmmaking challenge which we done, which was a huge hit at the center. Then we had a tie-up with the mobile film festival based in France. We presented 1 minute duration 30 films based on women empowerment theme. Now, AI is coming into picture. Artificial intelligence combined with the mobile technologies will definitely take this digital cinematic landscape to another level. I mean, sky is the limit for the young filmmakers. How do they imagine these stories from different part of the world, and how do they sort of, promote the narrative through mobile cinema and the mix of artificial intelligence. So this new aesthetics of the mobile filmmaking is being defined at the moment with the development of the different technology in digital domain. I'm sure this will be a new, very new opportunity for the young filmmakers, where the stories will be conveyed at different level. I thank you very much once again, the Euromediterranean Film Festival, for giving this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Hamad, for having so many initiatives and for being so active on the eastern side. So before giving the floor to one of our close friends, Yasmina, I have this very brief statement, very brief, because he couldn't connect today because of some technical issues from Hamed Bejaoui, who is the artistic director of the International Film Festival of Algiers in Algeria. He's also an active member of the Conseil International du Cinéma et de la Télévision. He sent a message, a very brief message in French, so but I will read it in English, and later in the transcription we will have both versions. So Mr. Bejaoui says, I was a member of the Euromed audiovisual think tank and a key player in the Barcelona process and the European Union's Mediterranean policy. Since this process came to a halt, the gap between the two shores has widened. There is a huge pool of talent and innovation on the southern shore, and only an active policy of co-production and distribution of works will bring artists and audiences closer together. So we thank Mr. Bejaoui for his message, and we shall listen to his recommendations and his suggestions. So now I have the pleasure to present you our Jasmina Bojic from the founder and president of UNAF. Okay. Well, I'll give you the floor. So please.
Yeah, so you can give it to me the floor, but I can actually just start with everything what we do in our lives. We do have the team, and a team that has been amazing for almost 10 years, maybe 10 years, maybe a little less, is actually behind the scenes of Mr. PIERPAOLO SAPORITO are an amazing group of young people who are actually inspiring us. What does it mean to be involved with the organizational part of the conference, of the film festival? And this is what I've been doing for more than 27 years with the United Nations Association Film Festival, inspiring young people to be involved. That's the key. Because otherwise we won't be able to have this perfect organization. So for all three of you, for another Martina and for Giovanni, who is right now moving around, I have a small gift, because this is something that is actually part of our film festival, United Nations Association Film Festival. This is something, Giovanni, so you can come here also, and Martina also, you can come here. So this is something for you. It's actually the luggage tag that we give to our filmmakers to travel with us around the world. So all three of you are having a small award, and I'm going to present this award to Martina 1, Martina 2, and Giovanni. So this tag, okay, okay, and then you do have the small thing that will just. This is actually a small thing that you put on your computer when you don't want it to be seen. So that's another thing, because I live in Palo Alto, as it's actually the heart of Silicon Valley. So a few streets for me is Mr. Mark Zuckerberg, who founded the Facebook, and then of course Lauren Powell, a wife of Steve Jobs. So you can imagine the power of Palo Alto, and when we have our film festival. But we do have for our filmmakers also the time for their secrecy. And this is the small tag you can see that you can put on your computer, and you can actually have your secrets for yourself. So this Mark Zuckerberg is using this as well. So anyway, this is thank you so much for your wonderful work, because you all deserve to bring these issues in your future lives, because our own experience can actually build the knowledge. So thank you so much.
Thank
you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And I can say just in a few words what we experienced today with filmmakers from Ghana. This is what I have been doing for so many years. I've been teaching at Stanford University documentary filmmaking, focusing on human rights issues. So I inspired the new generation of young people to be involved in education, in policy. A lot of my students are diplomats now, and they go around the world and actually share the knowledge with a lot of people in Africa, in China, and other places. But the key for all of us is shared humanity. And this is actually the theme for this year's film festival. So I founded the film festival 27 years ago at Stanford to inspire my students, but also to inspire the filmmakers to bring these films to the place which is educational institution. So when we talk about the Italian Human Rights College, we had actually 3 times presentation of some of our films at the same college in St. Nicholas, because the exchange of thoughts, the exchange of the cultures goes deeply to the young generation, because it's a visual generation. So don't be taking this wrong, but unfortunately, the younger generation, they don't take books in front of them and read the books. They do have a visual education through the internet, and also through the way of the film, how the films are working. So it's a very inspirational always. And for the shared humanity, we are going to have 60 documentaries. They were selected from 600 submissions from all over the world. And you can imagine we are just presenting our film festival from October 17 to October 27, only 1 week before the historic elections in the United States. So our messages are going from all over the world because we are presenting documentaries from Palestine, from Israel, from, of course, Ukraine and Russia, and from all over the world. And each of this film is speaking to, of course, the shared humanity and that peace. And that's why we are bringing these films also after the film festival in the traveling film festival, and we are looking forward to work with also the Human Rights College here in Lido again. So just in short, because I know it takes time for us to really grasp into the issues that we presented today, I just would like to give a possibility to visit our website, unaff.org, and really try to engage with some of the filmmakers, and also we're going to have panels. I wish we could have you all in Palo Alto in October, but there's going to be also a possibility for some panels and some also Zoom conversations in the next year. And I'm always looking forward to get together with the team of the conference in the UN in April, and it's kind of always a very special thing. So thank you so much to Mr. Pierpaolo Saporito for amazing work for so many years, and again to his wife as well, because it's the teamwork always. So, and to all of you, thank you so much, and the Giacomo, of course, for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Yasmina. Sorry. No, thank you very much. So we're almost done. I have one more message from Hamet Boyacoglu, who is the artistic director of the Festival on Wheels and the chairman of the Ankara Cinema Association from Turkey. So this is our last presentation for today, and then we are going to announce also the winner of another collateral award. So if I can ask Giovanni to play.
Until the last day of its production, a film is a piece of art. Once finished, it becomes a commercial item. Although film production in most countries is funded by governmental institutions, sale agents and distribution companies are always involved once the film is ready to be seen. Nowadays, it is very difficult to produce a film, but it's even more difficult to make it visible and present it to the public. In most of the countries all over the world, the USA production, so-called blockbusters, invade the cinemas, TV, and other platforms. In the last 10 years, important festivals have been prone to selecting films directed by famous directors, whose films are distributed by well-known companies. As a result of this, newcomers with low-budget films have practically no chance to make their films visible in the festival circuit or commercially. What we, as the audience, will get to watch over the next 12 months is being decided by a number of festival programmers and distribution companies. And these selected films can only be watched by those who have money to go to the cinemas, attend the festivals, or can pay for the screening platforms. In every country, a great number of small-budget films with no sales agents struggle to find an audience. These films never get selected to international festivals, have no possibility to be screened abroad. Even in their country of origin, they cannot be released in the theaters and reach an audience. In 1995, the Ankara Cinema Association began organizing a traveling film festival called Festival on Wheels. Our aim was to go to remote cities with no movie theaters and present art house films to film lovers. Since then, we visited 24 cities in Turkey and 5 neighbor countries. With 27 editions, the Festival on Wheels reached thousands of spectators who would otherwise not have the opportunity to watch art house films. Similar to the Festival on Wheels, an alternative online UNESCO Mediterranean Film Festival could potentially reach millions of spectators all over the Mediterranean region, allowing films to reach an audience they normally could not. One film for each Mediterranean country would be selected. During the selection process, the producer-directors would be contacted directly, avoiding dealing with distribution companies. This would not be a difficult task if the right person, institution in each country can be reached. A decent screening fee could be paid. Many producer-directors would be more than happy to participate and make their films accessible to an audience. Such a festival would potentially open new doors for young directors and for good low-budget films. A catalogue would be prepared and the selected films then be presented online to the public. Films mostly tell stories from their country of origin. An online UNESCO Mediterranean Film Festival would thus create a cultural platform and foster mutual understanding. Furthermore, it can go beyond borders, providing a brand new opportunity and platform to watch films. This is an initial proposal. If it is deemed viable, then it could be further developed. Kind regards, Dr. Boiacioglu.
Okay, so that was our last intervention for today. So I give the floor to President Saporito.
Yes, just I think we can invite some of our speakers. Just a few round table. A little summary we can have with the proposal, what we can do all together. The first, I just appreciate that also from Egypt, from all. And what do you think is possible to all together after as a follow-up of this meeting? You start. KUJTIM.
As I said, that the cities of UNESCO for concentration to the exploration of the heritage of cinemas, because mostly of the heritage of cinema is losing, is disappearing. And we have to reevaluate this, like all the other treasuries that have been until now as a gift for human being history.
Wonderful, wonderful thought. So, and I think it would be great if we can actually have some kind of exchange program so that we all be involved in, if you have a different film festival in your area, so then we can actually suggest to people, why don't you, after your film festival, look to the festival in another area so that we can really promote and make publicity for the film festivals, but also for the filmmakers, because we just really want our filmmakers not to stop in our film festival, but to go further. So that's why it's so important. And I think also in our website, so that's what we want to have all different film festivals with the different activities, so that people have this kind of a publicity working for other events. So that's one of my suggestions.
So I would like to say, let's go step by step. Let's look first at our backyard and work on the microspace, and then work more and more. So let's see what can we do in our own countries, at our own festival, and then start to make a collaboration with other festivals, and first with our neighbors. So after this, I would like to contact with you, because the camp that we are doing, and I saw that you are working as a professor, I would like to include your students, if maybe they would be interested, and I would like to invite them to be guests and participants.
Perfect. I love that proposal, because when I was in the office, he was frightened from the Albanians for outside the lake, and now the peace, finally. That is a great news. Thank you.
Something to say, in the Lake of Ohrid now, there is what Anna said, that is considered the old lake and deep on the world, but also it's now the new treasury in this part of Albanian side of the lake. They are 7,000-year ruins that has been discovered now, and that is bringing another understanding for the history.
One civilization.
I agree with all the previous speakers, which is sort of convergence in one place, in one digital platform of all the film festival or audiovisual festival to be sort of make visible all the low budget contents, or anyway, all the share humanity contents or whatever, and start from a platform which can be done, I think, with a low budget and make starting with a specific project which can show a new perspective in visibility and accessibility from consumers.
We will use your platform.
We have the methodology. We can absolutely can have our support in doing that.
I have a different perspective because, as you know, I work mainly as cultural operator. I think that, as I said in my intervention, we need to have a political dimension in all this process. If not, it will remain episodic and without continuity. So I propose that we write a letter to the future Commissioner for Mediterranean that will be appointed in 2 weeks. And we summarize all the proposals. I've listened to many interesting proposals. Practically, each of the intervention has a proposal, concrete, of what can be done within the Mediterranean basins. And I think that if we bring this to the attention of the political level, it could be something useful, because we need that dimension. If not, we will continue to do on our own. Let's say Benifei was mentioned, we are discussing now the pluriannual budget, and he said that he is eager to have something for cultural exchange in the Mediterranean. Good. Let's remember him that we ask this to be done, that we are totally endorsing. The Turkish guy was proposing to have a virtual Mediterranean festival. I think it's quite easy to be done because we have many festivals here. Each festival can propose something and we can have a virtual festival. But to make visible and to make as an example of what can be done, this is, in my view, what can be our contribution.
Thank you.
I absolutely agree. That's a great idea. And then also because we did have the representative from UNESCO, I think we definitely need to have all our voices in UNESCO because we are part of UNESCO. I mean, the organization is part of UNESCO. So let's find a way through our representatives in UNESCO how we can be part of the UNESCO film group and actually have a possibility for all of us to get together, maybe in May, in UNESCO building, and just have a possibility to have a conversation with the representatives of the film UNESCO.
Next year will be the 20 years of the convention.
Yes.
In June.
As usual, the conference will produce a document, a specific declaration, okay? We will try to make a draft. We share each other so you can reach and after this declaration we go to UNESCO, to all the institutions. Okay. Now
Thank you very much.
There is the last event.
Yes, this is the closing remarks of this 26th Euromediterranean Conference. And it's the proclamation or the announcement of the 13th edition of the Ambassador of Hope Award that is promoted by the Christopher Smithers Foundation. The foundation is located in the United States, and it is working on raising awareness on alcohol and substance abuse. So I am very pleased to present you the jurors of this year's award. We have the president of the jury, that is Christopher Smithers. We then have ÇASHKU, who is an artist and is here with us. We also had Ethan Samuel Hunt, who had some professional duties, so he went back to New York. Then we have Anish Bardan and Ross Mosley. We also had Tristan Irons, who was part of the jury, and of course PIERPAOLO Saporito as the president AI of CICT and president of HOSSAM. So would Christopher like to present or announce the winner of this year's edition and say a few words?
Absolutely, and thank you guys for hosting us and being so kind to let us come up here and speak on this. We are giving the award to King Ivory on behalf of
John
Swab on behalf of the Smithers Foundation. I believe that this film truly sheds light in a way that not many films that I've seen have before. It really goes in depth into the reality of what is really going on in the United States with fentanyl being poured in, and there's two sides to it. And so it's really a combat of how they combat it. The actors in the film are they're new actors, and the people that play their roles are also they play the roles based off of their own life experiences, which makes it very real. And so I don't want to spoil the ending, but the ending of the film, it's a very I would say it's a little bit violent, a little bit dark, but that's the reality of it. That is the reality of it. And so the award, I hope anyone would go and watch it, because I truly do think it brings awareness, and it would touch those, as the director stated, that touch families and those that have been affected by this dangerous drug that's been pouring into the States and all over the world. And there's really no way to stop it, it seems. So it's very touching. And I think a lot of people and families that, like I said, would relate to it.
Thank you very much, Chris, and thank you for being here all the way from the States. As I said before, if you want to say just a very few words, because then we have to conclude, just about the Christopher D. Smithers Foundation. What is your mission, and perhaps what are your next project or the mission that you want to pursue?
The mission first off, the Smithers Foundation, we bring awareness to substance use, and particularly opioid use disorder. But now I believe it's not as black and white as it used to be. And in the film, it describes that there's no real way to fight against the issue. So how would you combat this? And so next steps are, there's always innovation, and our foundation has to innovate. And so I believe that with AI technology and new programs, that we could create directory using AI, getting all sorts of options because everyone has different programs, different options might work for someone, might not. So we love to give everyone a chance, a fighting chance, some hope. And the goal would be to eventually open up wellness centers that are listed on a directory through either a foundation or the AI on a third-party platform. We're still going through that. And I think that a lot of people that struggle and families that struggle with substance abuse, struggle with the guilt, struggle with like where to go, who to look for. And it would be I truly believe it would be a great way to eliminate some stigma and the guilt towards people that are suffering. And it may work for some people, it may not, but I think it's a great option, and it gives people the chance to have people that are struggling, that can be educated through AI and this innovative technology that is just constantly
evolving. Thank you very much, Chris. And this is exactly what this award is about. It is about hope, hence the name. So let's. I think that the foundation wishes to give people hope, that there is a path of recovery and there is a path to a better life. So that's exactly what we are celebrating also today. So that concludes the 26th edition of the Euromediterranean Conference on Cinema. As PIERPAOLO Saporito has mentioned, we will be sharing a final declaration with all the attendees, and we will recap all the insights and include all the relevant and very important suggestions that have emerged. So you will hear from us again. I'm sorry about that, but you will. So thank you very much for being here. It was such a pleasure to have you. And again, yes, and we'll wait for you at the Excelsior as we had anticipated. So thank you very much, and until next year. Bye bye.